Here are some of the things he tweeted on the day I'm editing this bit of the video.
This is what he tweeted on the day that I was editing this bit of video. January 31st to February 3rd. So, not only are you a fucking liar, because, you know, that's the span of 4 fucking days, you're also fucking stupid enough to put it onto the screen and think that people aren't going to notice that you're a fucking liar. So, again, I started the intro with Scott Pilgrim versus the World ruined an entire generation of women, and the reason for that is because a video creator that we've covered on this stream before, Sheep in the Box. I don't know, whatever. It's a weird name, but it's a weird guy.
Is it water?
Let me get back to his channel thing, because the thumbnail is also important. Guys, shut up. So it's the Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and the song is called INCELCORE in all caps, an analysis of a viral misogynist song. So we're gonna get into some music critique, and then we've got some other things that are going to be a little fun. I did a little bit of show prep, so we're gonna get into this.
Is it water with the sheep in the box?
Punk is a malleable genre. Traditionally, it's been dominated by very left-wing musicians and even anarchists, which is why to many people the anarchist symbol is synonymous with the punk movement. But of course it would be naive to deny the existence of the many, many right-wing or even Nazi punks out there. In fact, it was such an issue that the Dead Kennedys felt the need to release a single called Nazi Punks Fuck Off in 1981, which in very short order points out the many contradictions of the concept of a Nazi punk, mainly that the right-wing tend to lean towards authoritarianism.
I don't necessarily know if the song is pointing out to contradictions or just like their dissatisfaction with people, but whatever. The classification of Nazi for these people is not one that you would be able to call conclusive, stringent, empirical, or any of those words. So, you know, I don't know. It's not necessarily a word that has much weight with these people, I guess.
Which is antithetical to punk's ethos. In general,
there's some really deep lyrics. It's kind of interesting though, because one might say that the prevailing cultural narratives are a little bit more, you know, to the left of in certain regards, at least in terms of like popular media culture and stuff like that. So I don't know if you're being countercultural. Although like I'm also of the position that left and right is kind of like a retarded dichotomy for people who are too stupid to articulate their own thoughts onto positions that they have a feeling on. So, you know, there's that.
Well then, punk is a genre beloved of and populated by political extremists. But political extremes can change over time, and in recent times there has been a depressing trend towards extremists indoctrinated over the internet and taught to hate others not like them, but especially women. You know.
Now, I'm gonna point out that I don't necessarily know if it's a people on political extremes, probably societal extremes. There's a distinction there. It's a distinction without much of a difference, but there is a distinction that you can draw.
You know who I'm talking about here. INCELCORE has landed, and its leader is a man called Negative XP, formerly known as, and I'm not kidding here, School Shooter. Of course, the main song of his I want to talk about here is the
he's gonna bitch about Negative XP and Shooter.
One named in the title, but I just want to...
Although he still goes by Shooter on Twitter, so maybe he calls himself Shooter and his band is Negative XP, because I don't think because he has more than one person doing the songs on it, right?
Briefly acknowledge that it doesn't exist in a vacuum. He's also made a song called E-Girl about how young, emotionally stunted and lonely young men will lash onto pretty girls online, and how the online economy incentivizes these so-called e-girls to exploit their audience for money and attention.
Oh, I also want to draw attention to the fact that, at least to my knowledge, he's not the one actually drawing this. I think he just looked up like pictures of people drawing sheep. I'm going to be a little mean here. I'm just going to be a little bit of a cunt, and I'm going to say that he might have that sheep because he wants to fuck sheep, but that's That's a little mean. I don't know if I should do that. That's low-hanging fruit. That's kind of mean. But I'm also kind of a mean person.
See how pretty you are, you're supposed to leave, but yet so far. I wanna see you, touch you, hug you, kiss you, fuck you, love you, be with you. And I message you, can you see what I said? 'Cause I can't get you out of my head.
Of course, at no point does he critique the system that enabled this to happen in the first place, merely positions himself as the helpless victim of the evil internet sluts.
How that results in
I think he, from what I can tell from that excerpt of the song, it's pretty clear that there's a little bit of criticism for the person who's obsessing over the e-girl. So I would say that simps kind of enable e-girls, but you know, that's just me.
0 subs. There are regulars here. $5 a month. How do you have hours of
Simps enable this. Very clear and simple.
time to watch me and not $5? I don't know. What are you doing with your life where you have hours of time to watch Twitch and not $5 to provide for the content that you're watching?
Man, what a cunt.
He also has a song called MK Ultra Victim,
Again, I want to, this is a little bit of an aside. Time is the most valuable resource that any of us have, and I wanted to thank you guys emphatically for spending your time with me today, laughing at idiots on the internet. I deeply appreciate it, and I hope you guys understand that. Every time I see that, I just want to remind the audience that even if you don't give me money, you guys are giving me your time, and that's infinitely more important.
which is already edgy enough, but well, it portrays the life of a depressed, extremely online incel, and of course the music video involves imagery of what the author deems degeneracy and the poison in his system.
TV screens of my memories, just adequate of apathy. I'm a broken piece of what I used to be. I lost my mind when I was lost in trees. I'm wide awake, but I can't wake up. I hear you loud and clear, but you might break up, cause this isn't real. I don't exist. Turn off, tune out before you lose it. I'm an MK Ultra victim. There's poison in my system. I'm an MK Ultra victim. There's poison in my system.
I actually don't hate MK Ultra Victim, musically at least, and there's a lot to be said for the idea that social media and a lot of the vapidity that comes as a result can cause or exacerbate severe depression and mental illness. And one could, I suppose, argue that this is just another tool of our capitalist masters to control and mould us into good little consumers. Of course, I doubt that
I don't necessarily know if you're understanding how much you're being conditioned right now, fam, to be pissed off about this, I guess. I don't know.
incel would agree. Probably they'd be more concerned about the
Also, he really likes to call the person an incel, which is like, okay. Generally, women kind of gravitate towards men that have, like, talent and are funny, and I think Shooter probably has no lack of women company, I would imagine. Or at least, hopefully, decent women company. I don't know.
globalists or them, considering that a lot of incels tend to lean extremely far right.
He's never going to substantiate a lot of these claims, by the way. That's also another note of a very pseudo-intellectual person, is generally you'll have people that have claims and then just never substantiate them. I believe it, therefore it must be true.
My suspicions about this guy. Negative XP is far from the first incel artist on the internet. In fact, I found this rather depressing number during my research for this video.
Sick of living in the clown world, decides it's time to rope. There's no turning away now. Out of reach and breaking down, touch is starved and out of copes, smiling delusions of grandeur. Hands down, the best day of the life he spent alone. They knew how they could have prevented
And obviously everyone's favourite, no longer relevant former internet celebrity Ray William Johnson did that just horrendous song about being...
So I don't know who this is. One second, I need to just check something real quick. Alright, let's see. Ray William Johnson is on YouTube. Let's see. Still makes videos. Not super good ratio, but I don't know. Let's see. What's his... Well, I guess those are vlogs, though. Let's see how his songs do. Still pretty well. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if this claim is substantiated, but whatever.
In the friend zone, which even includes racially stereotyped Chad, for what I imagine are totally not racist reasons.
Try to act like I don't care, but tonight I'm all alone because now I'm in the friend.
So let's rewind a little bit and listen to this claim again.
Former internet celebrity Ray William Johnson did that just horrendous song about being in the friend zone, which even includes racially stereotyped Chad, for what I imagine are totally not racist reasons.
A racially stereotyped Chad for what he assumes is not racist reasons. Now let's see what he's talking about.
Act like I don't care, but tonight I'm all alone because now I'm in the...
Now, Chad, what would you say the ethnicity of this Chad person is? Let's see what Chad is thinking right now. Let's see. Looks like a dude off Jersey Shore. Yeah, I got the impression that he was Italian. Hawaiian, Guido, yeah. So Italian, or 56. Well, you know, there's that too. Full Fredo, whitish, Italian, Jersey, yeah. So this is what we call a reach, and maybe this is why he doesn't substantiate his claims, because when he does, he looks like a fucking retard. Just saying, that might be why.
And the fact that these people so often fantasize or catastrophize about getting cucked by a buff guy with a massive black cock is definitely not an indication of any other deeply held beliefs and or desires.
Now, interestingly enough, in the thing you can see right here, one of the people in this little virtual band is like very black, very melanated. It's kind of weird that he's making this claim. Like, you can't even say, oh no, it's just the skin palette that they went with. It's like, no, that's clearly a black guy. It's like, well, there's a black guy right there, and that's not the skin color that they're using for it. I think that you want the conclusion that you came to be substantiated with evidence, but you're kind of like showing how you're wrong, and that's kind of embarrassing, but whatever.
And not at all worthy of any further discussion or introspection, I'm sure, along with the standard nice guy and incel motifs. They all pale in comparison to this guy though. Seriously, if you want to delve into the mind of an incredibly online incel edgelord, go and have a look at his Twitter, because fucking holy shit. He tweets at least 5 times an hour, and it's all just unhinged garbage. Maybe it's a cringy attempt to create a brand identity, or maybe he's just like this. If so, I'm genuinely quite worried about him. Here are some of the things he tweeted on the day I'm editing this bit of the video, for example.
Wait, 1 second. Let me just see something real quick, because I don't know if he actually...
Here are some of the things...
So, let's hear this claim. Let's hear this claim real quick, because again...
Maybe he's just like this. If so, I'm genuinely quite worried about him. Here are some of the things he tweeted on the day I'm editing this bit of the video.
This is what he tweeted on the day that I was editing this bit of video. January 31st to February 3rd. So, not only are you a fucking liar, because, you know, that's the span of 4 fucking days, you're also fucking stupid enough to put it onto the screen and think that people aren't going to notice that you're a fucking liar. Although, maybe he just understands the audience that he's pandering to and they're too stupid to actually, like, you know, verify for it. It's possible, but, I think that he's just stupid.
For example. This song is by far Negative XP's most popular, having racked up around 7 times the listens that his others, on average, have received on Spotify, and has basically gone viral on YouTube and also Twitter after being retweeted by Count Dankula, who you may recognise as the cowardly little man who fell foul of UK decency laws for saying shit like "gas the Jews" and "Sieg Heil" on the internet whilst giggling like a lunatic, and then acted like it was a free speech issue or in any way about the fucking pug, and then silently giggled along, and Sargon of Akkad shouted that he wouldn't even rape a female British MP because she was being a bitch.
Now, chat, I want a scale of 1 to 10. How ass mad is this guy about Count Dankula? 1 being not bothered at all, and 10 being he's the guy who stuck a mason jar up his ass and then it shattered inside of him and then he bled out. How ass mad is this guy right now? Yeah, I'm thinking 11, Alfarius. I think you're right. It always comes back to Sargon. Oh, you have no idea what we have in store. Holy shit.
He finds horrendously offensive things and normalizing rhetoric that could cause severe material damage to other people hilarious, I guess. Before we begin, though...
Yes, a pug doing a Roman salute can cause material damage to people. That's a claim that clearly mentally well people would make.
I should probably mention that I'm no expert on music theory or anything like that, and besides, whether or not you like a sound is entirely subjective, so I'm not really going to go into that stuff. Additionally, I know that a lot of people are going to just respond to this video with, "It's just a joke," or "It's just a song, it's not serious, why are you acting like it's such a big deal?" And to those people I say that this is very clearly a politically controversial musician whose music, whilst often interesting, carries a very clear political message, and this song in particular is designed to attack and critique a certain subset of...
You know... Okay, so real quick, let's go back here, because this is going to be important. This is why I did show prep on this one.
Controversial musician whose music, whilst often interesting, carries a very clear political message.
Carries a very clear political message. That's going to be important later.
And this song in particular is designed to attack and critique a certain subset of often vulnerable people, so asking people not to engage politically with a highly political song in a highly political genre is nonsensical. You may as well ask me to pretend that Killer Mike's music is just music, so let's not discuss the political implications of the entire song he wrote about Ronald Reagan and his legacy, or Kildren's Kill Tory Scum.
It's also really interesting. He bitches about Count Dankula doing substantive, like, physical harm to people by, like, having a pug do a Roman salute.
He finds horrendously offensive things and normalizing rhetoric that could cause severe material damage to other people hilarious, I guess.
Whereas he portrays this as a positive example when it's, like, literal Fed posting. But again, he understands the dynamics that he's operating under. He'll lie about it, but he understands full well that he's lying about it.
Or God Save the Queen. Political, punk music especially. The genius description for this song is as follows. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World Ruined a Whole Generation of Women is a song made by Negative XP. The track takes a stab at the prevailing culture of hedonism Western women take part in, which is an interesting use of the word hedonism there, almost as if the sorts of people who love this kind of shit don't actually know what they're fucking talking about. Hedonism, in case you weren't aware, is a school of philosophy dating all the way back to Aristippus of Cyrene, a student of Socrates, and the general concept can basically be boiled down to seeking pleasure and avoiding suffering, which honestly I can't see any issue with whatsoever.
Wow, I'm absolutely shocked that he would have a problem finding a problem with an existence that's only devoted towards the gaining of one's pleasure. Absolutely astonished that wow.
It just seems logical to me, but that's not what's meant here, is it? The implication is that Western women care only about their own pleasure and are out here just taking all those scary black dicks and whatever. It's the classic incel bullshit. All women are immoral sluts who don't deserve to enjoy themselves, but also I want them to love me and sleep with me without me having to respect them. It's weird, because the more you...
You know, I don't think that he's saying about all women. Well, although he did ruin an entire generation of women, but... I don't necessarily think that he means that all women are like that, but I don't know. It could be. You never know.
Search hedonism, the more it sounds like the way to go. I mean, according to the internet, hedonistic ethical egoism is the idea that all people have the right to do everything in their power to achieve the greatest amount of pleasure possible to them. It is also the idea that every person's pleasure should far surpass their amount of pain. How rad is that? Even taken at its most basic definition, this description, which has not been taken down, reported or replaced despite the over 17,000 times this page has been visited, is incorrect.
I'm having a really hard time following what he's like complaining about here, because I think it's like a comment section that's bitching about it. He's bitching about, but again, like there's probably a lot of problems with a person who's solely devoted to their own personal pleasure in terms of like as a society, and also in terms of just like general actual fulfillment. But I think that maybe it is probably good for people to not be just completely horny little babies that are constantly searching out for just their own upcomies. But again, this guy probably visits Reddit a lot. I don't know. Let's go back real quick. I'm gonna try to understand what he's saying, because he's speaking way too fast and didn't do more than one take, I think.
Is also the idea that every person's pleasure should far surpass their amount of pain. How rad is that? Even taken at its most basic definition, this description, which has not been taken down, reported or replaced despite the over 17,000 times this page has been visited, is incorrect, ignorant, and of course, misogynistic.
Again, is he talking about the definition?
Person's pleasure should far surpass their amount of pain. How rad is that? Even taken at its most basic definition, this description, which has not been taken down, reported or replaced despite the over
This description that has not been taken down, reported, or replaced
17,000 times this page has been visited, is incorrect, ignorant, and of course, misogynist.
I'm honestly, at this point, for this part of the video, I'm just at a complete loss of like what the hell he's trying to convey. Like I feel as if there was a cut there in the middle, and that he meant to say something but didn't like think about it, didn't proof his video, and then just like kind of went out with it. I know I'm overthinking this a lot, but I'm very confusing about this. I'm just very confused about this.
I'll briefly.
You should probably make sure that people don't have this like confusion at what you're trying to convey when you're proofing your video.
Be going over the lyrics in the next section, but I just wanted to acknowledge some of the lovely comments some of these people have left as little factoids about some of these deep lyrics. Just describing this horrid woman. Fluoride causes the pineal gland to turn into a calcified mess. Ask the legends Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. SSRIs are commonly prescribed antidepressants. Every mass shooter has been on SSRIs. SSRIs make women more likely to engage in risky behaviors. In Scott Pilgrim...
Is this Tumblr? I don't know what this... I don't know what these are. If they're upvotes, they're not comments.
Ramona is a stern but carefree figure. In the film, Scott needs to destroy Ramona's 7 evil exes in order to date her. The main criticism is that some girls follow in her behavior by sleeping with as many people as possible, but at least Ramona put some thought toward repercussions from her relationships. The funny thing about that one is that that person genuinely seems to think that 7 people is an unrealistically high amount of people to have slept with by the age of, how old is she, like 23? Plan B is the trade name for the over-the-counter contraceptive pills, used as birth control by women that had unprotected sex or if the condom had torn. But let's be honest, we all know what the real reason is here. Side effects of contraceptive pills include nausea, abdominal pain, fatigue, headache, menstrual changes, and long-term brings about changes in hormones leading to hormonal changes. Long-term just fucks up your body. To know more on the thing, just watch. And then this user links to a video in which Joe Rogan spreads conspiracy nonsense with a holistic psychiatrist who just also happens to be an anti-vaxxer. So, you know, an expert. She's an alcoholic.
So, also, when you're doing argumentative essays, right? And this is, I guess, a video essay. It's a very poorly constructed one and contradicts itself and lies. However, I'm still critiquing it as if it was like an actual thing of intellectual merit. I know. I'm wasting my time here. But, when you make a claim like that, saying that the person that Joe Rogan had on is an anti-vaxxer, perhaps maybe link to a headline in which she actually says something that's anti-vaccination, because at this point, all I have to go on is your assertion that she's an anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorist. We don't know what they said. We don't know what she's basing that on. Clearly, she's a psychiatrist, so she probably has degrees in it, but she's an anti-vaxxer, but you don't provide evidence for that. And you've already proven yourself to be untrustworthy and stupid. So I have no way of knowing this. And when you think about it for just a second, it kind of unravels and you just can't really... It's hard to really go into, you know what I mean?
And a whore. And that's just the Genius page. Reddit is much worse, but I don't want to get a community strike, so I'll just leave it there for now. These are fucking delightful people, right?
Chat, do you think this individual is delightful? He seems like a real winner that I wouldn't want to, like, chew off my arm to get away from.
The lyrics are, of course, edgy to the point of cringe and just very yikesy. There's a few references throughout the song.
A ostensibly most likely like 30-year-old man saying something is yikesy is arguably a lot more cringe than the comment section of Negative XP's music video. But again, you know, I guess that's all subjective. I don't know.
Song to mental illness, specifically in the first verse with the BPD line.
BBD and ecstasy, conceited with no self-esteem. She's a teenage dream if you hate yourself.
References to fluoride, Plan B, and SSRIs, which, as the aforementioned fan comments pointed out, are part of a conspiracy theory on the same level as fucking chemtrails and whatever bullshit Alex Jones is going on about nowadays.
Fluoride mine and SSRIs, 1,000 yards there for all those guys.
What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby.
Now, aren't there like some countries, like developed countries, that don't allow fluorinated water? Like, isn't there actual health detriments? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not like super woke on the fluoride question, but I was under the impression that like some like actually developed countries disallow that. I don't know.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap.
It's also really funny that they use this video clip when, you know, there were estrogen hormones in water supplies that were changing the physical sex of the frogs. So Alex is somewhat right in this clip, which is, I always find it weird.
The idea, I guess, is that the Jews put fluoride in our water supply to control us, and is...
Okay, so Andreas Pearson says, fluoride is proven to be bad for you. Sweden will not use it in its drinking water. Sweden isn't like a third world shithole, so I don't know. There's like actual health problems with it, but again, if you say anything bad about it, it's a conspiracy theory. Again, another mark against this guy.
Isn't just a widely used method of purifying our drinking water. Ableist language, including using the R slur, is used indiscriminately for basically no reason other than shock and, I guess, just because it's edgy. Plus, of course, there's the weird obsession with deriding people.
I don't think anybody who's in Negative XP's audience are really shocked by the word retard, and they're more like laughing at people that clutch their pearls about it, I guess, but whatever.
With low self-esteem, which is very odd, considering that the reason incels exist in the first place is that they have basically zero self-esteem and catastrophize and lay the blame at the feet of women rather than acknowledging their own faults. If there was a problem with women having low self-esteem, why is the problem not also with incels having no self-esteem? There's a lot of childish bitterness directed to basically what the authors decided is a...
This guy complaining that anybody is engaging in childish bitterness is, oh.
A bunch of women influenced by an Edgar Wright movie, but who, for what I'm sure are totally coincidental reasons, share a lot of overlap with what the right-wing think feminists are from all those feminist cringe compilations they love.
Bright dyed hair and obnoxious clothes, thinks communism is the way to go. She's a whore, a hole, a dime a dozen, Jezebel.
Notes.
Now, real quick, it's very interesting. Now, I said before, it would be very important later for him to say that the people who are Negative XP is clearly political and it's clearly towards the right wing. And it's very telling that he's using that music video, the same music video that I used for my intro. Now, let's go and look at the thing that he glossed over in this thing, or that he'll gloss over in this real quick. And it doesn't happen chronologically, but he does gloss over this. It's just very telling. The part that he, the part where he glossed over when he was bitching about it. Retarded views on politics. Complaining about people who are weird anti-Trump people and also MAGA thoughts. Why might he omit that, chat? Oh, wait, because he's dishonest and he thinks his audience is a bunch of retards. I mean, he's not wrong on that part, but he is dishonest.
Seriously, there's the reference to coloured hair, extremely prudish comments about sexual promiscuity, and accompanied slut-shaming.
1,000 yards there for all those guys that you fucked and sucked before you came along. It's at a big...
You even hear the like awkward jump cut from that part, because that's the part I just showed you is the part that comes immediately after it. Like he's really bad at this.
She's someone's daughter, like a lamb to the slaughter. But honestly, I'd still hit if I could. She's a whore, a hole, gave head since middle school.
That's a tangible crossover between the right wing and incels, other than the fact that in general incels are right wing anyway. Even
It's funny, what do incels, fascists, and terrorists all have in common? Violent misogyny. Now, this is most likely an opinion piece. I don't know why you're stating this as a statement of fact to back up your thing, but, you know, opinions to this guy are the same as facts. Let's just be real here.
without the childish criticism of left-wing politics, without any real elaboration or explanation.
Thinks communism is the way to go. Retarded views on politics.
Oh, he does cover that part.
Bit of a pearl-clutching attack on drug users and people who enjoy going to concerts.
Never mind. I was wrong. I was retarded. I made an oopsie. But I guess he added it in there because he didn't realize that he's making fun of both, like, really vapid political thoughts. I don't know.
Shows cause she's so fucking cool. She's an alcoholic loser bitch that likes to listen to shitty music.
Weird. Isn't the guy who made this a musician? Oh, let's not forget the senseless misogyny and obvious hatred towards women.
Musicians can't have opinions on music? What?
Women for having sex, making decisions about their own bodies that the author doesn't like, and, well, existing. Honestly, these lyrics feel like they were written by an elderly man who's been consuming a shit ton of far-right YouTube videos, and of course a shed load of Fox News. The Venn diagram
I mean, I could tell you what this video is reminding me of, but whatever. Ugh.
between incels and conservatives' views on almost anything, but especially women, the left, and conspiracy bullshit is basically just a fucking circle.
Also, learn to breathe through your talking, dude, because holy shit.
Conservatives get so mad about women making decisions they don't like, especially concerning their bodies, and they
He really wants to fuck this sheep.
think they have the right to call themselves the real punk rock or the new counterculture or whatever. Conservatives can't be the counterculture because they are the culture. I know that people will say, oh no, actually, he's an incel, not
They are the culture. Not going to substantiate that or back that up or provide an argument for why that is. Just, I said it therefore must be true. Okay. Okay, boomer.
To conservative, but let's be honest here, he's espousing a lot of views and comments very typical of your average conservative misogynist, and I doubt that this fella is voting for Bernie Sanders. What never ceases to amaze me about right-wing media figures is that they lap hateful bullshit up without thinking, so now I can infer that Count Dankula.
How hard do you think he was when editing this portion of the video and watching these sheep walk around with their toned, sexy little flanks? Or whatever fucking zoophiles might say.
Who has over the past few years positioned himself as a hero of free speech and freedom of expression, thinks that women who have sex and put colour in their hair should be openly called slurs, have their mental health called into question and or attacked, and referred to as a whore and a hole. Tell me, in a situation where women are derided and attacked for the temerity to express themselves, how much freedom of expression do they realistically have? Or is the line literally just legal suppression and nothing else counts? Well, as a wealthy straight white man,
You know, it's funny, as a person who, like, likens one of his favorite genres that he's vehemently defending to anarchism, he's really for, like, state oppression. It's kind of contradictory. Oh.
And Count Dankula has no real chance of having his freedom of expression socially impinged, so I guess he does only care about legal ramifications.
Is it water?
So, is that a problem to be against state oppression? What? What?
With the sheep in the box.
Hello everyone, this is just a bit of a bonus video for you today because I was bored and I kept seeing this shit crop up on my—
Okay, at this point I have to admit, I should have a Patreon, because if this guy can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, if he can produce such vapid retardation and just blatantly lie to his audience, and people will buy it, like, I provide more value to people, so I should do a Patreon. You guys are gonna have to help me figure out what I should do a Patreon on, though, because I need to have, like, some goal. It needs to be some exchange of goods, or else I feel like I'm some sort of, like, grubbling grabbler, and I don't want to feel like a grabbler.
My timeline again and again, so I felt I had to respond.
I will do more edited videos, Gorgoth. I'm gonna do more edited, condensed videos, because I'm actually starting to enjoy it.
My next video will be a PragerU response, and it looks like it's probably going to be a feature-length one, so apologies in advance, but it will probably take me a while to finish, and after that, I'm back to work, so my upload schedule will have to slow down again anyway. Of course, the real reason I'm talking to you right now, after the video is over, is to thank all my patrons who are currently being displayed on screen right now. If you want to join them, there should be a link on screen now, as well as in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter, ask me a question on Curious Cat, or make a one-off donation to me via Coffee.
No, I don't think I will, fam. I don't think I will. Alfurious made a clip. Let's see what Alfurious made a clip of. Alright, 1 second. Oh, fuck, where is it? What a loser. Maybe watching these sheep walk around with their toned, sexy little flanks. Not only are you a fucking liar, because, you know, that's the span of 4 fucking days, you're also fucking stupid enough to put it onto the screen and think that people aren't going to notice that you're a fucking liar. Welcome, everybody, to the Pseudo-Intellectual Saturday stream. How is everybody doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. We've got some videos here.